Hello and welcome to Blueprint Explosive Exclusive. There's some big breaking news coming in at the moment. Sources are telling us that the India-Pakistan DGMO level talks have been concluded. They are over for today. This is round one of the talks that have now been concluded and the first round of talks since the ceasefire. Let's quickly take this across to our reporters. Joining us at the moment are Rishabh and Pradeep. I'm going to come to you first. Pradeep, the talks finally being concluded today. Any information coming in about what was discussed, Pradeep?
See, what we have been told, the talks were held in a very cordial manner. There was a telephonic conversation on the hotline where the DGMOs from both the countries, they got in touch with each other. But yes, India has already made certain things clear to the DGMO on the other side. One is about the infiltration, because this is the most important issue that was discussed, that India is going to have zero tolerance towards infiltration. No infiltration should be allowed from other side. The second thing is that they should not allow their post to be used as launch pads by the terrorists, because in recent past we have seen that there had been several instances where the terrorists had been waiting at launch pads trying to come out to this side. Third thing is that there should not be any kind of an aerial intrusion. That means the drone activity should not be there. Drone should not be allowed neither to target any of the bases, nor it should come over to this place to drop arms and ammunition and narcotics. And fourth important thing is that there should be no cessation of fire from both the sides, because there should be no firing. And targeting of civilians is something that was really discussed about. These were the 5 points, because actually India has already made it clear that certain terms and conditions really apply, then only ceasefire will be possible. Ceasefire doesn't mean only that it should not be firing. And also things made clear that what actually the government says, that if you are going to violate ceasefire and if there is any kind of a misadventure from your side, it will be given back, because that is what actually India's strategy is. But zero tolerance towards infiltration, because that is most important. That you can't just say that we will not be firing, because there can be every possibility that same can be used to buy time.
Pradeep, stay with us. Let me quickly get a word from Rishabh as well. Rishabh, we know that this round of talks has been concluded. Any information about when there will be a next round of talks between the Directors General of Military Operations?
Well, Madhav, what we're given to understand, every Tuesday is when the hotline conversation between DGMO offices of New Delhi and Islamabad takes place, and this is a weekly affair. This time around as well, after Pahalgam, last Tuesday was the first DGMO office level talks that happened last Tuesday. Then there have been 3 DGMO level talks, including the one which Pradeep was just mentioning about. The last 2 was very clear. The Saturday call actually talked about how Pakistan wants a ceasefire and in a way pleaded India to cease the hostilities on the front line, be it LOC or international border. Then came the second call that happened yesterday morning, where because the understanding that was arrived upon between India and Pakistan was violated, was breached by Pakistan overnight, it was a stern message from Delhi to Islamabad that any misadventure will see a response of bigger might. Then there was a first night last night where there was no hostilities, be it at international border or LOC, a calm night after a period of almost 3 weeks. Then today, this morning, the afternoon, there was a call scheduled, could not happen because of glitches. Now, as Pradeep was telling, that the calls have happened. Remains to be seen how things unfold from here. The peace on the front lines are fragile. India has not called it a ceasefire. India has called it an understanding, and an understanding till Pakistan adhere to it. Otherwise, we heard the press conferences from military yesterday and today as well.
All right, there's some breaking updates coming in. In fact, the first is the subjects on which agreement has been arrived at. First is, of course, no firing, no targeting of civilians also being discussed, no drone intrusions across the IB and the LOC, and tolerance on infiltration. In fact, zero tolerance on infiltration, I beg your pardon, that has been discussed. Pradeep is with us. Pradeep, on all of these counts, India would want that Pakistan does not try any misadventure, because India has said that they will give it back and give it back at a much higher level.
See, why today, in fact, the soldiers are eyeball to eyeball with each other? It's because there had been infiltration from across the border, and second thing had been that Pakistan had been supporting terror-related activity, and because of which the Pahalgam kind of massacre really happened. Had they not allowed the infiltration to this side, had they not provided them training, this thing would not have happened today. should not have reached this stage where they would have lost 11 of their air bases because of the India's pounding of bombs in that area. Because India had already sent the message loud and clear. They do not want to target any of the military installations. They wanted to only target these terror hubs. But they kept on interfering and intervening. And finally, the India had to take action. So that's one of the reasons that it has been conveyed to them. There should be no infiltration, because only then there can be peace on the border if there is no infiltration. And the second thing is that they should not allow their posts to be used as launch pads. And second, there is these drones, because normally it has been seen that their drone activity has increased over the period of time. Recently, it was to target military installation. This activity was totally different. But in the past, it has been seen that drones had been used to drop arms and ammunition. Drones had been used even to drop narcotics also. That activity also needs to stop. And fourth important thing is that targeting of civilians, and there should be no firing from across the border, and they should not violate ceasefire at all. In case they go with any kind of a misadventure,
all right,
or there is a firing from other side. India
all right, Pradeep, thanks so much for joining us. Rishabh, also thanks for joining us with those updates there as far as the DGMO level talks are concerned. Let's quickly now open this up and take it across. In fact, as far as the announcement or the press conference earlier today, where the DGMOs had their briefing, we know that Indian Armed Forces have presented more proof of how Operation Sindoor was successful in hitting military targets in Pakistan, while reiterating that it is Pakistan which is to be held responsible for damages it has sustained. In a press briefing that was held by the Director General of Military, Air as well as Naval Operations, the forces revealed that Karachi and Islamabad were among the Pakistan cities in which Pakistani military targets were attacked, including its air bases were struck. Now, in fact, they've also stated that India's air defense system stood like a firewall and successfully took down the drones, missiles and the UAVs fired by Pakistan into Indian territory. A warning was also issued to the enemy nation that if the need arises, all of India's military bases and systems are fully operational and ready to undertake any future mission.
इस परिस्थिति में हमारी जवाबी कार्यवाही अत्यंत आवश्यक थी और इसमें उनका जो भी नुकसान हुआ वे खुद इसके लिए जिम्मेदार हैं। हमारी तरफ से हमारी एयर डिफेंस सिस्टम्स देश के लिए दीवार की तरह खड़ी थी और इसको भेदना दुश्मन के लिए नामुमकिन था। This brings me to the point, how have Indian forces managed to minimize the damage to both civilian and military infra in the country, in spite of the unrelenting efforts by the Pakistani forces? All our military bases, all our systems continue to remain operational and ready to undertake any future missions should the need so arise. और अंत में यह मैं स्पष्ट शब्दों में कह देना चाहता हूं कि हमारी सभी मिलिट्री बेसेस और सारे इक्विपमेंट और सिस्टम्स ऑपरेशनल हैं और जरूरत पड़ने पर अपने अगले मिशन के लिए तैयार हैं और तत्पर भी हैं।
So let's take a look at some of the evidence that has been presented by our forces in terms of what exactly took place. And here on the Blueprint Exclusive, we are going to decode some of the Operation Sindoor revelations that were made, in fact, as far as this press conference is concerned. Pictures, in fact, that we'll be looking at, not just of those air bases, but also of the downed missiles, drones and rockets that were put out, and our armed forces ensuring that no damage was done. Now, this is what we're talking about. This is the Noor Khan Air Base, Rawalpindi. Just look at the video of this that was presented. That is the moment of when it was struck, and this air base being struck was seen as one of the most important hits as far as India is concerned. On the other side, you have Rahim Yar Khan Air Base in Pakistan as well, and those videos as well that were presented in terms of what action was taken on ground as far as Pakistan is concerned. But these are aren't the only two bases. Of course, videos of these two bases that are out. Let's quickly take a look at the map of Pakistan and look at the sheer number of air bases that have been struck. Here we're talking about Karachi, we're talking about Rawalpindi, we're talking about Lahore. This is the number of bases that have been struck. And, let me quickly bring in our guests one by one into this. Abhijit, I want you to come in on this because, there is a UAV center, there are radar centers, there are air defense centers in Karachi. It's really been a comprehensive strike, and this is what has rattled Pakistan.
Well, it's not Karachi as much that has rattled Pakistan as the, where is the Noor Khan base?
Noor Khan is right here, right on top there, right next to Rawalpindi, Islamabad. Yeah.
Noor Khan. See, this is something, now, you've seen all these footages of, Israelis hitting enemy aircraft. Here we did something very special. We hit the technical area, which also has the mess, which is where pilots and technical staff were on high readiness. So you've killed off a lot of pilots out there. Okay. So what has happened here is a plane takes only 2 to 3 years to replace. A pilot takes 10-15 years to train. Correct. So this is something that has really hit them very, very badly. Karachi, the fact that we've gone and hit all the supporting infrastructure. Remember, you can hit, when we say non-escalatory, we mean non-escalatory. We're not going to hit the infrastructure, we're going to hit all the support, which is almost the same, and you can claim, well, मैंने ज़्यादा कुछ तो नहीं किया था.
So this is very important, Colonel Shailendra, from the perspective, also the location of Noor Khan, psychologically very important because you've literally hit where Rawalpindi is, you've literally hit where their forces are present in a large number, and if what he's saying is correct in terms of the actual hangars, etc., the damage that would have been caused would be immense for Pakistan.
You have hit the nail, it is Rawalpindi, that is the word to be seen. Noor Khan with Rawalpindi word makes it of such strategic value that it is beyond imagination. It is a communication center, it is a ISI communication center, it is a transport hub, it has got those fuel refilling transport coming there. Every damn thing which you can talk of is here. So that is why I am saying Karachi, yes, it is important, but Noor Khan, they have been taking always pride. And you know what is the biggest achievement in this? What Modi said? I'll now add one more. We will search for you. We will identify you.
And then
we will track you. And we will destroy you. Now, if you see the number of bases, you start counting which have not been attacked. Now you tell me that. Correct. From where to where, you tell me which is that base which has not been attacked. If we can reach your such strategic bases, then take it from me. Whatever are others are as good as irrelevant for us. Correct. We have told you, we know where you are, we have the capability. We could have destroyed the whole of it. Absolutely. It was a matter of another 4 missiles or whatever. But we have not done that. We have done limited damage, but marking our presence there.
Okay, I want to bring in Naval Captain Shyam Kumar as well on this. Naval Captain Shyam Kumar, what is very important is this. Here you have a whole lot of runways which have also been hit. So when there is an Air Force to Air Force combat happening, if your air assets are not able to take to the air, then obviously it's going to be a one-sided war. And that's what was really proved. Without even having to take out any of the infrastructure, just by knocking out those runways, the battle was already won to that extent.
Yes, thank you. We call it a preemptive strike. As a pilot, I would like to tell you, see, the preemptive strikes means either we use our special forces behind the enemy lines or we preempt their aircraft taking off from runways. What you are saying is the same tactics that we use, that we carry out operations on runways so that the aircraft can't take off. 4,000, 5,000 feet of runway, whatever short takeoff runways they have, we will hit it at center or 2 places from there the aircraft can't take off. Second point is about logistics support base. Talking about the Noor Khan base, it has the AWACS aircraft. That is the Saab Sweden Saab AWACS aircraft, which can carry out airborne control. It has the mid-air refueler, IL-78, which can carry out fighters refueling. So it's a force multiplier. C-130 transport aircraft.
So to just explain this to the common man, this essentially means that they cannot conduct any kind of surveillance or monitoring of Indian aircraft and Indian defense aircraft as well.
Suppression of air defense. That means the airborne aircraft is airborne controller. Right. He searches for the aircraft and he directs them for attack. Okay. So if our aircrafts are going, he is going to take care of them. Correct. So this has been destroyed. Correct. So this Sweden Saab aircraft which are there, There are nine in number. Chinese also gave them, but that is not on ground now. 224, they are not operating it. But still Shodan aircrafts are there. Transport aircraft, which is strategic lift of troops, and all the VIP movements. Their VIP communication squadron is based there.
So it's a comprehensive defeat. It's a comprehensive defeat.
And Rajnath, if Mr. Rajnath has to say, we have hit the army headquarters, Rawalpindi. That is what is main. The morale of their armed forces are lost because we could hit, and keeping it within the airspace and within the proper professionalism and discipline of not violating the airspace of or not crossing the border.
Despite all of this, there are some in Pakistan who are celebrating. What they're celebrating, we don't know. There seems to be, some kind of attempt to project this as a victory of Pakistan. But let's quickly take a look at some of the weapons that have been, also seen and in fact have been. Well, this is, of course, what we're talking about in terms of our own air defense is concerned. Soft kill, this is the presentation that was made. Weapons as well. Take us through these, Colonel Shirendra. What exactly are these? This is part of our air defense systems?
No, these are all passive measures of, soft kill, where there is not an explosive going and hitting anywhere.
Okay.
We will cripple their equipment whichever way, but they will like if it's a drone, we will interfere with the frequencies of it. If it's a missile, yes, if one way is to kill it, another is to stop whatever is the communication on, the aircrafts of there. All these things combined make a soft kill.
Okay.
And that is what you are showing here.
Okay, let's take a look at some of the other weapons as well, if you can quickly bring that up on the screen. And these are the China-made PL-15 missiles. The interesting thing I noted here, Abhijit, is that some of these, at least one of them, appears to be fairly intact. Now, how does that make a difference in terms of if you have a missile from China's side, which has been fired by Pakistan, from the future conflict point of view, quite important to when you capture something like that?
Look, it is important, but more to know the flight characteristics. What I want to focus, though, on is the fact that, if the missile had scored a direct hit, this wouldn't be the state of decomposition. A 15-20 kg warhead, which is what a missile like this carries, the destruction is far, far worse than this.
True.
This in particular seems to me like a dud, right? In that case, you have to wonder what the hell happened with it. Now, such a long-range missile, they keep claiming 300. They even paid some trashy little British newspaper to write a puff piece on it. Of course, that was full of mistakes. Wo to chhod hi do. But what this is telling you is this missile failed.
Absolutely.
For all the PR and spin, this missile failed. This one shows some, it can't be lying. If you had a 15 kg explosive go off at 30-40,000 feet, I don't know at what altitude the combat took place, all of this should be recoverable. It should be spread over,
dozens of
10, 12 kilometers and things like that. This is not... what I'm seeing here is proof of failure. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely. In fact, let's bring the next image as well, if you can quickly bring that in. And this is as far as long-range rockets are concerned. Explain to us, Captain Shyamkumar, these rockets, of course, all of them have very clearly been neutralized by India. But take us through what kind of rockets these are. Is this also Chinese equipment? Is it Turkish equipment? What exactly is this? Can you decipher for us?
These are basically projectile rockets which are fired, thousands of them being fired by Hezbollah on the northern borders of Israel or by Hamas. This is a rocket basically, and it doesn't have very long range actually. These are not missiles basically. They are 5,000 meters, maybe 10 kilometers maximum. Like this is what has been happening in Russia and Ukraine war, where they did not use the long range missiles which could go up to the Poland border, and they didn't want to escalate the war. So that is how this is basically for psychological warfare, hitting across the villages, just making some noise, and they are cheaper, available. The rate of fire of the rocket launcher is very high. They can fire so many in one go. It creates a confusion for the civilians.
Let's take a look at these. These are the loiter munitions and the UAV systems that we're looking at over here. Several of these have also been destroyed, Abhijit. Take us through any of these that you can recognize in terms of the loitering munitions. Drones we can see, of course, over here. This is fairly intact as well.
Drone is like this, this is where we are talking about soft kill. That means it would have been interfered, and it has just come down.
So if you bring back those soft kill measures, I'll tell you, if we can go back one.
You want to go back to that? Yeah, okay. Let's quickly bring back the soft kill frame as well, so that we can quickly take a look at that. These are, of course, the China.
Before.
Yeah, it'll just come in here now. This is long range. Yeah, the one just before this, we'll just bring in the soft kill as well. Okay. Let's bring in soft kill. Yeah,
that would have been used for radio frequency jamming.
Okay.
This would have been used for radar jamming, actively suppressing the radar, any GPS signals. That could have also been used for GPS signals. this we would have just blinded the final optical mechanism. You see, you keep flashing it. It's like, you know, when you're driving, somebody puts a high beam on your face.
Yes, yes.
Drones are like that, you know, they get confused very easily by these things. There's a reason they're cheap, right? So that is what, so if you come back, agar aap wapas wo drone wala image layenge.
Yeah, let's quickly bring up that drone image, please. The drone image where we were looking at. And in fact, there's several drone images. This is just one set of images. There's an entire montage. There we go.
This is, as Sir said, this was a quadcopter, which was a clear soft kill because it shows no marks. See, it makes no sense expending even a few thousand rupees on this kind of a thing. This you can just buy off Amazon and things like that. These, it's very hard to tell, but they're clearly longer range drones with proper propellers and things like that. This is the propulsion mechanism. That is the motor. I can't, sorry, I'm too close to see what. That isn't a drone, that's a rocket. But the rest of these are very much drone parts.
Let's bring in the next set of pictures as well. Let's quickly look at others. Are the advanced systems. I believe we have those images as well. Yes, this is very interesting because this actually explains how things work. Colonel Shelly, you want to come in on this and explain to us. This is IACCS and this is Akash Tir. This is our basically integrated air defense system, and it's talking about how there's a first layer which is a counter drones as well as man pads. There's also a second layer which is pointed air defense and short range surface to air missiles. Third layer is medium range surface to air missiles. Fourth layer, long range surface to air missiles. You want to come in on this, Captain?
Yes. See, whenever we carry out the air defense, it is in layers. You see, we have seen it international boundary here, the 200-kilometer range you have shown, and you have started from here. Now you see, as the threat develops, air threat develops, firstly the search radars which are at very high range.
So which are the radars in this? Just explain. These three are the radars that we're looking at?
We can't actually see what is happening.
The pink ones. The pink ones, the pink ones are the surveillance radars.
You can see here written as first layer, drone and man pads. So now the drones, swarm drones, if you have many drones, you can actually catch the incoming aircraft coming. Second layer is point air defense and short range surface to air missiles, SAM. Now, SAM missiles which are surface to air, which are part of the air defense, because as the enemy aircraft or the missile or the drone comes into the range, say 70 kilometers, 80 kilometers, then they are going to take over. The third one is the medium range surface to air missiles. Now, this is the outer one. In fact, it is going from here. You see the long range surface to air missile. This is the first one. Then this is the second one. As you can appreciate, I am here and there is an aircraft coming, missile coming or drone coming. So firstly, the long range surface to air missiles will take on. Then the third layer will be medium range, 70 kilometers, 60 kilometers. Then the guns, close-in weapon guns, L-70, things like that will take over. And then the direct, even the machine guns can work on the smaller drones because you don't want to waste your energy or exhaust your
So how does this work? So basically these are three radars and we've strategically placed all of these weapon systems as well over here, whether it's medium, short or long range. They send a layer to, they send a signal to Akash Tir and then Akash Tir gives them the direction as to what is to be used. Is that how it works?
Target is acquired on radar. And then as the missiles come closer, as 200 kilometers, 300 kilometers, it will be taken to the fire control radar. Fire control radar will carry out a calculations and a quick calculations will be given to the SAMs and the long range missiles will get activated.
So it's all happening real time.
It's all real time and many systems are integrated, and this time Army, Navy and Air Force, this is
all together.
This is 200 kilometers. You must look at it at 1000 kilometers. And the same system is working at sea also. Imagine even the sea inputs are coming. So if there is a threat from sea,
some more images coming in. In fact, let's take a quick look at this as well. Let's take a look at the next set of pictures, and this is the role of the Navy, and this is where the Navy comes in fact, as far as our defense is concerned. Let's quickly open this up, bring in some of the images, please, if you can quickly bring them up. These are the images of our naval fleet as well, and these, of course, are several of the aircraft. You want to come in on this, Captain?
This is the Kamov 31 aircraft, which is this is like AWACS. It is operated on the Talwar, Tawar, Trishul class, and the Tamal, which is coming. This is the aircraft which is carrying it. It has got a radar, which you see here. He lowers it. It lowers and then it goes over it is carried on aircraft carrier also. This is part of the aircraft carrier protection. This is like AWACS, AEW. So it is going in the air and carrying out a complete surveillance. And these fighter aircrafts are on combat air patrol, MiG-29s.
MiG-29s.
Yes, they are on aircraft carrier. With the coordination of this, you are carrying out fleet protection. This is a destroyer which you can see here. There are other destroyers, Surat, Kolkata, Visakhapatnam class, Nilgiri class. These destroyers are here. You can see even Shivalik class ships here. In fact, both Western Fleet is at its peak today. And they are guarding the North Arabian Sea. Every target, every place has been defined. As you see DGNO's address, precision munitions have been given during this attack.
Abhijit, I wanted to come in on this. Sinjoy, in fact, reported a few days earlier that several assets from our eastern fleet have been moved to the west. Now, what is the role that the Navy has played? Is it more of a deterrent role? Is it more of, just to give Pakistan the scare that if it tries to get, any more creative in terms of its response, that it will be completely cut off? Its naval bases, etc., will be completely cut off. What has been the role of the Navy?
So, the main role has been deterrence, because what happens, but they've also carried out strikes. Remember, the Karachi strike is most probably carried out by the Navy. The first day also, we don't know exactly what they did. Most probably naval drones that provided targeting. But the main thing out here is, remember, it is the Navy to Navy strength between India and Pakistan that is the most disproportionate in existence. Now, the Navy is also, the southern coast is also the most unguarded. So they could have used their planes to come in south and try to bomb, Bombay, Double in Goa and things like that, the Jamnagar refinery. They have prevented all of that. So it has been superb deterrence. They have not allowed a single thing to come on the entire coast.
It is not only a deterrence, it is in addition to deterrence, you have kept the Pakistani tied down, that you cannot start doing anything that side, because we are very much
here. We have restricted them.
We are in the international waters. We are in international water and we cannot fire from there. So even if you're saying that we attack Karachi, actually we don't know, because now with the act of war coming up, international airspace gets the trigger.
Okay, sir. We'll have to wrap it up there. Captain Shyam Kumar, Colonel Shailendra Singh, Abhijit Iyer Mitra, thank you so much for joining us and explaining this, breaking this down for our viewers. Slipping into a quick break for now.